One 17-year-old Asya found herself unexpectedly pregnant shortly after graduating from high school. It caught her completely off guard, as she had never experienced a relationship like this before. She had been dating Myron since the 8th grade, and he had always assured her of his love. They had plans to attend university together and marry after graduation. However, everything changed when she discovered the news of her pregnancy. Fear overwhelmed Asya as she came to terms with her situation. The realization didn't come immediately, and by the time she understood, it was too late to alter the course of events. Myron, while professing his love for her, made it clear that marriage was not part of his immediate plans. He needed to complete his studies and support his own family. Understanding Myron's predicament, Asya refrained from pressuring him or seeking assistance from his parents. She saw no purpose in doing so. However, when her own parents discovered her condition, they were unable to bear the weight of their only daughter bringing a child into their home. Driven by shame, they disowned Asya, harshly blaming her for her predicament. "You got her pregnant, now think about it," they admonished Myron. "We won't let you embarrass us or yourself. This is not the future we envisioned for our daughter." Frightened and without a place to call home, Asya stood at the gate, uncertain of what the future held for her and the life growing within her. One 17-year-old Asya found herself unexpectedly pregnant shortly after graduating from high school. It caught her completely off guard, as she had never experienced a relationship like this before. She had been dating Myron since the 8th grade, and he had always assured her of his love. They had plans to attend university together and marry after graduation. However, everything changed when she discovered the news of her pregnancy. Fear overwhelmed Asya as she came to terms with her situation. The realization didn't come immediately, and by the time she understood, it was too late to alter the course of events. Myron, while professing his love for her, made it clear that marriage was not part of his immediate plans. He needed to complete his studies and support his own family. Understanding Myron's predicament, Asya refrained from pressuring him or seeking assistance from his parents. She saw no purpose in doing so. However, when her own parents discovered her condition, they were unable to bear the weight of their only daughter bringing a child into their home. Driven by shame, they disowned Asya, harshly blaming her for her predicament. "You got her pregnant, now think about it," they admonished Myron. "We won't let you embarrass us or yourself. This is not the future we envisioned for our daughter." Frightened and without a place to call home, Asya stood at the gate, uncertain of what the future held for her and the life growing within her. Grandmother Evdokia Ivanovna diligently cared for her granddaughter's well-being, ensuring she maintained good health by encouraging healthy eating habits and taking leisurely walks together. In the evenings, they would share moments of joy, singing while savoring raspberry tea outdoors. As the weather grew colder, they found warmth and comfort in the coziness of their home. Reminiscing about her youth, Grandma recalled sewing diapers for her own children, emphasizing the cost-effectiveness of homemade creations. When Asya's son Victor was born, a robust and timely arrival, she proudly named him after his grandfather. With her great-grandson by her side, Evdokia Ivanovna seemed to regain her youthful vigor, providing unwavering support and assistance to her granddaughter. "Leave Vidya to me," she insisted. "I'll take care of him while you work." When Vidya turned 2, his grandmother granted Asya the opportunity to pursue employment. "Go ahead, my dear. A little extra income won't hurt us," she encouraged, assuring the young mother that they would be fine. Vidya grew into a delightful child, calm, well-behaved, and a pleasure to care for, much like his grandfather. Although he occasionally displayed signs of being spoiled or defiant, as any child might, he matured into a sensible young boy. His grandmother patiently sat with him, explaining the reasons behind certain restrictions and providing detailed guidance. With love and understanding, Grandma Evdokia Ivanovna nurtured Victor's development, fostering his curiosity and ensuring he understood the world around him. As the years passed, Vidya blossomed into a bright and compassionate young boy, earning praise both at school and in kindergarten. His achievements brought immense pride to his grandparents and his mother, Asya. In the evenings, the family delighted in gathering together, sharing stories and engaging in heartfelt conversations. Evdokia Ivanovna would often recount tales of her past, reminiscing about her youth and the experiences that shaped her. One day, curiosity got the better of Vidya, and he turned to his grandmother with a question. "Grandma," he inquired, "were you very beautiful when you were young?" Uncertain of how to respond, Evdokia Ivanovna replied, "Beauty is subjective, my dear. It varies from person to person. But would you like to see some photographs?" Excitement filled Vidya's eyes as he nodded eagerly. "Yes, please show me," he exclaimed. Evdokia Ivanovna disappeared into her room, returning with an old album, its cover adorned in faded blue velvet. Carefully flipping through the pages, she revealed snapshots of her younger self. "Look, this is me in 9th grade," she pointed out. "And here, at the factory." Vidya's admiration was evident as he gazed at the photographs. "Grandma, you are beautiful," he exclaimed, his eyes filled with awe. Curiosity sparked further as Vidya noticed a young man standing beside his grandmother in one of the pictures. "And who's that boy?" he asked, pointing at the man. Evdokia Ivanovna smiled warmly. "Don't you recognize him? That's your grandfather, Viktor Stepanovich," she revealed. "He was a kind-hearted man, and I fell in love with him at first sight." The connection between generations was strengthened as Vidya gained a deeper appreciation for his family's history and the love that bound them together. Through stories and cherished photographs, Evdokia Ivanovna ensured that the legacy of love and beauty would continue to be passed down through the generations. As the years passed, Vidya blossomed into a bright and compassionate young boy, earning praise both at school and in kindergarten. His achievements brought immense pride to his grandparents and his mother, Asya. In the evenings, the family delighted in gathering together, sharing stories and engaging in heartfelt conversations. Evdokia Ivanovna would often recount tales of her past, reminiscing about her youth and the experiences that shaped her. One day, curiosity got the better of Vidya, and he turned to his grandmother with a question. "Grandma," he inquired, "were you very beautiful when you were young?" Uncertain of how to respond, Evdokia Ivanovna replied, "Beauty is subjective, my dear. It varies from person to person. But would you like to see some photographs?" Excitement filled Vidya's eyes as he nodded eagerly. "Yes, please show me," he exclaimed. Evdokia Ivanovna disappeared into her room, returning with an old album, its cover adorned in faded blue velvet. Carefully flipping through the pages, she revealed snapshots of her younger self. "Look, this is me in 9th grade," she pointed out, "and here at the factory." Vidya's admiration was evident as he gazed at the photographs. "Grandma, you are beautiful," he exclaimed, his eyes filled with awe. Curiosity sparked further as Vidya noticed a young man standing beside his grandmother in one of the pictures. "And who's that boy?" he asked, pointing at the man. Evdokia Ivanovna smiled warmly. "Don't you recognize him? That's your grandfather, Viktor Stepanovich," she revealed. "He was a kind-hearted man, and I fell in love with him at first sight." The connection between generations was strengthened as Vidya gained a deeper appreciation for his family's history and the love that bound them together. Through stories and cherished photographs, Evdokia Ivanovna ensured that the legacy of love and beauty would continue to be passed down through the generations. "There must have been no shortage of suitors because you're a beautiful girl," Vidya remarked, earning a smile from his grandmother. Her delight was evident upon hearing her grandson's compliment. "Ah, dancing," Evdokia Ivanovna responded, reminiscing about the demands of their large family. "We had to help your mother, and your father was quite strict. Dancing was a distant dream for me, and now no one would even invite me." Vidya's determination shone through as he assured his grandmother, "I'll grow up and invite you to dance, Grandma." "Very well," Evdokia Ivanovna replied, satisfied with the resolution. "Now, let's not keep your mother waiting any longer." While Vidya contemplated leaving school after 9th grade and enrolling in a technical school, both Asya and Evdokia Ivanovna persuaded him to stay. They recognized his intelligence and believed he had the potential to attend university. "Vidya, you're a bright young man. You'll get into university without a doubt," they encouraged him, and he listened, heeding their advice. The teachers also rejoiced at his decision to continue his education, as they saw his potential for higher studies. Meanwhile, Asya found herself courted by Valentin, a newcomer to their village. Valentin had recently inherited a house from his uncle and had decided to settle there, taking charge of the household. However, Asya had no time to entertain romantic pursuits. Her priority was getting her son on his feet before considering her own needs. Valentin, deeply smitten with Asya, declared that he would wait for her as long as she desired. He actively engaged in developing his business, seeking Asya's counsel on work-related matters. Together, they navigated the intricacies of village life, identifying trustworthy individuals and those to be avoided. After each visit from Valentin, Evdokia Ivanovna subtly hinted to Asya to consider him more closely. "He's a good, hard-working man," she would mention. Asya, though secretly drawn to Valentin, shrugged off her grandmother's suggestions. Valentin's love for Asya remained unwavering, and he continued to patiently pursue her. While their paths intertwined in both work and personal matters, Asya remained cautious, unsure of what the future held. Asya's parents arrived when Vidya was in his final year of high school, preparing for his examinations at the age of 17. They came to meet him and become acquainted with the family. By that time, Vidya had grown older, and his grandmother had revealed the truth to him. Evdokia Ivanovna attempted to explain everything gently and respectfully. However, Vidya drew his own conclusions and realized that he was now the only man responsible for the household. He felt a pang of regret that his grandfather hadn't lived long enough to witness this moment. He resolved to take even better care of his great-grandmother and his mother. Asya, dedicated to her son's well-being, had never remarried. When the uninvited guests arrived, there was no display of emotion. They were simply greeted and invited to the table, where tea and grandma's cakes were served. "We should introduce ourselves, reveal who we are," Leonid Viktorovich, Asya's father, suggested in a somewhat condescending tone. Vidya calmly replied, "I already know who you are. You are my mother's parents, and you," he nodded towards his grandfather, "are the son of my grandmother, Evdokia Ivanovna." Asya's mother interjected, "But Evdokia Ivanovna is not your grandmother. She is your great-grandmother. I am your only grandmother." "No, you're mistaken. I have only one grandmother, the most beloved and the only one, and her name is Evdokia Ivanovna," Vidya asserted without hesitation. Before anyone could respond, Vidya excused himself, declaring that he needed to continue studying for his exams. He walked out of the kitchen, leaving a stunned silence behind. Uncertain of what to discuss, the room fell into an uncomfortable stillness. Asya's father broke the silence, saying, "Let's go." As they departed, the atmosphere remained tense, with unspoken tension hanging in the air. Vidya's words had made it clear that blood relations did not guarantee emotional closeness, leaving his family members to grapple with the weight of his truth. "Wait, son," Evdokia Ivanovna called out, stopping him in his tracks. "I want to tell you something. You have a remarkable grandson. He may be resentful towards you, and he has every right to be. But you're a grown man, and it's up to you to earn his trust. There's a chance, son," she continued, her voice filled with hope. "You can still have a relationship with your grandson, and if you don't seize that opportunity, I'll be deeply disappointed." The man remained silent, his face unreadable, and left with his sorrowful mother. School days were over, and Vidya had performed admirably in his exams. The only thing left was the graduation party, where he would proudly wear the new suit he had earned through his part-time job on Valentin Maximovich's farm. Over the past year, Vidya had developed a strong bond with Valentin. He genuinely liked him, and he knew that his mother felt the same, even if she wouldn't openly admit it. After their work one day, Valentin Maximovich struck up a conversation with Asya. He confessed that he had asked her out on a date before, but she had turned him down without giving a reason. However, Vidya, being perceptive as he was, understood the situation perfectly. Later, Valentin Maximovich mentioned to Vidya that someone should accompany his mother to the graduation party. Vidya immediately grasped the underlying intention and realized that Valentin wanted to be that someone. The day of the grand celebration arrived. The club where the party was held had ample space for all the graduates. Dancing and merriment were on the agenda, culminating in a sunrise gathering by the river. Vidya, thoughtful and considerate, bought 2 beautiful bouquets and made his way home. As he knocked on the door, Evdokia Ivanovna rushed to open it. Her astonishment was evident as she beheld a handsome and grown-up young man standing before her, her beloved grandson. Vidya entered and presented her with the flowers. Then, in a solemn gesture, he knelt down on one knee and spoke earnestly, "My dear, beloved, and only grandma, I humbly request your presence as my date for the prom. No refusals shall be accepted." Yevdokia Ivanovna felt a rush of youthfulness surge through her veins. "You were left without a date for the evening," a voice echoed through the corridor, and to everyone's surprise, it was Valentin, dressed in a suit and holding a bouquet of flowers. "Without a date? Perhaps I could join you." Together, Valentin and Vidya accompanied Asya to the club, radiating joy and elegance in their attire. The onlookers couldn't help but smile and admire the trio, happy for Asya and the wonderful companionship she had found. Leonid, present at the event as well, observed from a distance. He watched his grandson, now grown and mature, and felt a pang of regret for having listened to his wife's words in the past. But it was not too late. He held a newfound determination to make amends. A great hope filled his heart, confident that he could set things right. Thank you for subscribing and like it.